What's up? I'm Lily. Revenge Crown brings you the stories that keep you hooked. If that sounds good, smash subscribe and let's go. Actually, let me back up 3 hours. The announcement happened at Sunday Brunch Mom's famous spread of Belgian waffles, fresh fruit, and the kind of mimosas that cost more than my weekly grocery budget. My parents sat at the head of their mahogany dining table looking pleased with themselves. "We've made a decision," Dad said, dabbing his mouth with a linen napkin. "Your mother and I are retiring. Effective next month." I looked up from my plate. "Retiring? Dad, you're only 58. Exactly," Mom beamed. "We've worked hard our whole lives. We deserve to enjoy ourselves while we're still young enough." My sister Vanessa grinned from across the table. "That's amazing. You should totally do it. Travel, relax, live your best lives. There's just one small thing," Dad continued. "We'll need help with some of the monthly expenses during the transition. Just until our investments mature and the pension kicks in fully." "Nothing major. That's what family's for," Vanessa said, shooting me a pointed look. Mom reached over and squeezed my hand. "Ethan, you've always been so responsible with money. We knew we could count on you." I set down my fork carefully. "What kind of expenses are we talking about?" "Oh, the usual. Mortgage, car payments, utilities, homeowner's insurance." Mom waved her hand dismissively. "Maybe $4,000 a month? $4,500 at most." "Just temporarily, I repeated. 6 months, tops," Dad said. "By then everything will be settled and we'll be self-sufficient." Vanessa nodded enthusiastically. "It's really not that much when you think about it, Ethan. You make good money at that tech company. And honestly, after everything Mom and Dad have done for us, it's the least we can do." I looked at my sister who'd gotten her college fully paid for while I'd worked 3 jobs and taken loans. At my parents who'd helped her buy her condo with a $40,000 gift while I'd scraped together my own down payment. At the expectant faces around the table, already counting my money. "Of course," I said, smiling. "Whatever you need." The relief in the room was palpable. Mom actually clapped her hands together. "I knew you'd understand. You've always been our sensible one." I finished brunch, helped clean up, and drove home to my modest 2-bedroom apartment. Not the 3-story house in the suburbs where my parents lived, not the trendy downtown condo Vanessa owned. Just a simple apartment where I'd lived for 6 years, saving money, building my future. I sat at my desk and opened my laptop. The Excel spreadsheet I'd been maintaining was already open, the one I'd started 8 months ago when I'd begun to suspect something was wrong. The automatic transfers I'd set up 3 years ago. When Dad said he needed temporary help after a business setback, Dad's mortgage, $2,100 monthly times 36 months equals $75,600. Mom's car lease, $687 monthly times 24 months equals $16,488. Their homeowner's insurance, $284 monthly times 36 months equals $10,224. Various emergencies, $18,350. Credit card help, paid twice, $12,400. Total transferred, $133,062, and I just agreed to add another $4,500 monthly to that total. The thing was, they didn't know the full picture. 3 years ago, when Dad had asked for help, I'd suggested setting up automatic transfers from a joint account for convenience. They'd agreed enthusiastically. I'd opened the account, set up the transfers, and every month money flowed from my paycheck into their bills. But here's what they didn't know. I was the primary account holder. I'd funded every single deposit. Their names were on the account for transparency, but legally it was mine. Every dollar, every transfer, every payment mine. And I'd documented everything. I picked up my phone and called my lawyer, Richard Moss, whom I'd retained 6 months ago when Mom had casually mentioned they were thinking about retiring early. "Richard, it's Ethan. They made it official. They're retiring next month and expect me to cover $4,500 monthly. On top of what you're already paying?" "Yes. That would bring your total annual family subsidy to over $80,000. Ethan, you're 32 years old. You should be building your own wealth, not funding their early retirement." I know. Are you ready to proceed? I looked at my savings account balance. $34,127. It should have been over $170,000. I'd been making six figures for 5 years. But instead of building wealth, I'd been funding my parents' lifestyle while they told everyone I was doing well without mentioning who was paying for their comfort. I'm ready. I'll prepare the documentation. When do you want to execute? Tomorrow, Monday morning. 9:47 a.m. I'll meet you at the bank. My second call went to my bank manager, Denise Rothman, who'd helped me understand my options when I'd first laid out the situation. Denise, tomorrow morning. I need to freeze the joint account and halt all automatic transfers. All of them? Every single one. Ethan, you understand this will cause immediate disruption? Their mortgage payment is scheduled to process Tuesday morning. The car lease payment is Friday. I understand. And you're comfortable with that? I thought about brunch. About my mother's casual assumption that I'd just keep paying. About Vanessa's smug certainty that I owed them this. About 3 years of automatic transfers that had drained my future. I've never been more comfortable with anything in my life. I didn't sleep much that night. Not from anxiety, from anticipation. Like the feeling before a storm finally breaks after weeks of oppressive humidity. Monday morning, I arrived at Capital Trust Bank at 9:30 a.m. Richard was already waiting, briefcase in hand. Denise saw us through her office window and waved us in. Good morning, Ethan, Mr. Moss. She gestured to the chairs across from her desk. I have everything prepared. Before we proceed, I need to confirm. You want to freeze the joint account ending in 7,392 and cancel all automatic transfers? Yes. And transfer all remaining funds to your new individual account? Correct. Richard opened his briefcase and pulled out a folder. I've prepared documentation establishing Ethan's sole ownership and funding of the account. Every deposit originated from his personal checking account. Every transfer can be traced back to his earned income. Denise reviewed the documents, nodding. This is very thorough. Ethan, as the primary account holder, you have every legal right to do this. The secondary account holders, your parents will lose access immediately. They won't be able to withdraw funds, make transfers, or use their debit cards linked to this account. What happens to the scheduled automatic payments? I asked. They'll fail. The mortgage payment scheduled for tomorrow will be declined. The car lease on Friday will bounce. Any other automatic payments will be rejected. And when they contact the bank? I'll personally handle all inquiries. I'll explain that you, as the primary account holder, restructured your accounts and that all actions were legal and documented. I looked at Richard, he nodded. I looked at Denise, she waited calmly. Do it, I said. Denise typed for several minutes, her fingers clicking across the keyboard with practiced efficiency. Account frozen as of 9:47 a.m., all automatic transfers canceled. Remaining balance of $4,847 transferred to your new individual account ending in 2,156. New debit card will arrive in 5 to 7 business days. She printed several documents and slid them across the desk. Here's confirmation of all actions taken. Keep these for your records. Richard added them to his folder. Excellent. Ethan, one more thing. I've prepared a statement you can send when they inevitably contact you. It's factual, unemotional, and legally sound. It references my contact information for any further discussion. They're going to lose it, I said. Probably, Richard agreed. That's why you're not going to engage emotionally. You're going to send one message, refer them to me, and then you're going to let me handle the fallout. I left the bank at 10:23 a.m. and went to work. My phone stayed quiet until 2:47 p.m., then it exploded. Dad, 2:47 p.m. Ethan, the bank called. They said our mortgage payment was declined. Can you check on this? Probably just a technical error. Mom, 3:14 p.m. Something's wrong with the account. My card isn't working. Can you call the bank? Dad, 3:28 p.m. Ethan, this is urgent. The bank says the account is frozen. Call me now. Vanessa, 3:45 p.m. Dad just called me freaking out. What's going on with the bank account? Mom, 4:02 p.m. Ethan, call me immediately. The bank says you froze everything. This has to be a mistake. Dad, 4:16 p.m. I don't know what you think you're redoing, but you need to fix this right now. The mortgage company is going to charge us a late fee. I waited until 5 p.m., then sent the message Richard had prepared, effective today. I've restructured my personal accounts and discontinued all automatic transfers. The joint account was funded entirely by me, and I exercised my right as the primary account holder to close it. I have complete documentation of all transactions. For any questions, please contact my attorney, Richard Moss. I included Richard's email and phone number. My phone rang immediately. Dad, I didn't answer. Mom called, declined. Vanessa called, declined. A number I didn't recognize, probably one of them calling from a different phone. Declined. By 6 p.m., I had 23 missed calls. The text came in waves. Dad, 5:34 p.m. You can't just freeze your account, that's illegal. I'm calling my lawyer. Mom, 5:41 p.m. How could you do this? After everything we've done for you? You're being incredibly selfish. Vanessa, 5:55 p.m. Seriously? You're really going to screw over Mom and Dad like this? What is wrong with you? Mom, 6:12 p.m. Your father went to the bank. They showed him statements proving you put all the money in. That can't be right. We've been contributing too. That message made me laugh out loud. Contributing? They hadn't deposited a single dollar in 3 years. Dad, 6:47 p.m. That woman at the bank, Denise, she showed us everything. 3 years of transfers. $133,000. She said it all came from you. Why didn't you tell us you were keeping track? Why didn't I tell them? Because they'd never asked. They'd just taken. I turned off my phone and went to the gym, lifted weights until my arms shook, ran until my lungs burned, came home and slept better than I had in 3 years. Tuesday morning brought a new wave of messages. Mom, 7:15 a.m., the mortgage payment bounced. We're going to get a late fee. Please, Ethan, just unfreeze the account. We can talk about this. Dad, 8:04 a.m. Your mother is very upset. I'm very upset. You need to fix this today, or there will be serious consequences. Vanessa, 8:33 a.m. Mom called me crying. She said you've been paying for everything for 3 years, and you never said anything. That one was interesting, so now Vanessa knew. Now she understood that the family sharing arrangement had been entirely one way. Vanessa, 8:51 a.m. Okay, I'm reading Mom's text more carefully. You've been paying $2,100 a month for their mortgage? Plus the car, plus insurance? Ethan, that's insane. Why would you agree to that? I didn't respond. At 10 a.m., Richard called. Your father contacted me. He's threatening legal action. On what grounds? That's what I asked him. He said something about breach of family obligation. I explained that's not a legal concept. Then he claimed you stole from a joint account. I walked him through the definition of joint account ownership and suggested he consult with his own attorney if he wished. But that discovery would reveal the complete transaction history. How'd he respond? He hung up. But Ethan, your mother called right after. She was crying, asking if there was any way to negotiate access to the funds. I told her that was between you and your family, but that legally the accounts were permanently closed. Thank you, Richard. One more thing. Your mother mentioned they have less than $3,000 in their personal checking account. They can't make their mortgage payment, their car lease, or their insurance premium. She asked if you'd reconsider even partial support. What did you say? I said that was your decision and you'd communicated your position clearly. After we hung up, I felt a tiny crack in my resolve. My mother, crying. My father, panicked. Maybe I should. No, I've been supporting them for 3 years. 3 years while they planned their early retirement. While they'd taken vacations to Italy and wine country. While they'd remodeled their kitchen with $38,000 in granite countertops. They'd been spending my money and planning their exit from the workforce at 58, fully expecting me to keep paying. Wednesday brought a shift in tactics. Mom, 9:14 a.m. Ethan, I've had time to think. Maybe we relied on you too much. Can we please meet and talk about this? Just coffee? Vanessa, 11:47 a.m. I talked to Mom and Dad, I get it now. They took advantage, but they're still our parents. Can we find a middle ground? Dad, 2:33 p.m. Son, I think we need to have a serious conversation, man to man. I may have taken your generosity for granted. Let's talk. I forwarded all messages to Richard without responding. Thursday, Denise called me at work. Ethan, your parents came to the bank this morning. Both of them. They asked to meet with me, and I showed them everything, the complete account history. Every deposit from your personal checking account, every automatic transfer. 3 years of documentation. Your mother kept saying she didn't realize it was all your money. Your father asked why you'd agreed to help if you were going to keep score. What did you tell them? I said that joint accounts require transparency and that perhaps they should have reviewed the statements more carefully. Then your father asked if there was any way to compel you to continue the payments. I explained that no, there isn't, and that you'd acted completely within your legal rights. How did they take it? Your mother cried. Your father got angry, said something about family loyalty, and left. But Ethan, your mother stayed. She asked me what she should do. She said they have $2,400 in their personal checking and their mortgage is $2,100. My stomach twisted. What did you say? I suggested she and your father might need to reconsider their retirement timeline. Friday brought the car lease crisis. Dad, 10:47 a.m., the car payment bounced. They're threatening to repossess your mother's vehicle. Ethan, please, your mother needs that car. Mom, 11:15 a.m. I can't believe you'd let them take my car. What am I supposed to do? How do I get to my appointments? Vanessa, 1:04 p.m. This is going too far. They get it. They understand? But you can't let them lose the car. Be the bigger person, I called Richard. They want me to be the bigger person. You've been the bigger person for 3 years and $133,000. I'd say you've been plenty big. They might lose the car. Ethan, that's a consequence of their choices. They chose to retire early without ensuring they could cover their expenses. They chose to rely on you without asking if you were comfortable with an indefinite arrangement. They chose to spend rather than save. I know. Do you? Because you sound like you're wavering. I was. The idea of my mother losing her car, of my parents facing real financial crisis, it made me feel cruel, petty, like maybe I was the villain in this story. Let me ask you something, Richard said. If you restart the payments, do you think they'll change? Do you think they'll suddenly become financially responsible and relieve you of this burden in 6 months like they promised? No, they'll keep taking. Because that's what they've been doing. And you'll be 40 years old, still funding their lifestyle, with no retirement savings of your own. Is that the life you want? No, then stop wavering. He was right. I knew he was right. I didn't respond to any of the messages. Week 2 brought attempts at guilt, then bargaining, then ultimatums. Mom, your grandmother would be so disappointed in you. Dad, we'll pay you back. We'll sign a contract. Just help us through this month. Vanessa, fine, don't help them. But don't expect me to forgive you for this. Mom, we're going to lose the house. Our credit will be destroyed. This is your fault. That last one almost broke me. Until I did the math. My parents had a combined income of $140,000 before they retired. But they didn't, because they'd been spending freely, knowing I was their safety net. Their financial crisis wasn't my fault. It was the natural consequence of their choices. 3 weeks after the freeze, Vanessa called from a number I didn't recognize. I answered without thinking. Don't hang up, she said immediately. I'm not calling to yell at you. What do you want? I want to apologize. I said nothing. I talked to Mom and Dad, really talked. Made them show me their finances. Ethan, they've been spending like they're millionaires. $800 a month on dining out. $300 on wine. They redid the kitchen last year for $38,000 while you were paying their mortgage. I know. Why didn't you say something? Why didn't you tell me what was happening? Would you have believed me? Or would you have said I was exaggerating and that family helps family? Silence. Then I would have told you to keep helping them. You're right. I'm sorry. Okay, they're not retiring anymore. Dad's staying at his job. Mom's looking for part-time work. They put the house on the market. They're downsizing to a condo they can actually afford. They're furious about it, but they're doing it. Good. Are you ever going to talk to them again? I don't know, maybe when they can acknowledge what they did without blaming me for stopping it. That might take a while. Then it takes a while. We hung up. I felt something loosen in my chest, not forgiveness, but maybe the beginning of acceptance that my family might eventually understand. 1 month after the freeze, I sat with my financial advisor, Michelle Torres, reviewing my accounts. Your savings rate has increased by $6,300 monthly, Michelle said, pulling up charts. You're now maxing out your 401k, your Roth IRA, and you've started a taxable investment account. At this rate, you'll be a millionaire by 45. I should have done this 3 years ago. You're doing it now. That's what matters. She looked at me over her reading glasses. How are you feeling about everything? Guilty sometimes. Relieved mostly. Free. The guilt will fade. The freedom won't. My phone barely rang anymore. Mom sent occasional text updates about the house sale, mentions of Dad's job, carefully neutral messages that didn't ask for anything. Dad didn't contact me at all. Vanessa texted every week or so, rebuilding our relationship slowly. 2 months after the freeze, I got a letter in the mail, handwritten, from my mother. Ethan, your father doesn't know I'm writing this. He's still angry, but I need to say something. I didn't realize how much we were taking from you. I thought you were comfortable giving it. I thought you wanted to help. When Denise showed me those bank statements, 3 years of $6,300 monthly transfers, I couldn't believe it. That's $226,800 over time. Your entire 20s given to us. I should have asked if you were okay. I should have checked if this was sustainable. I should have noticed you never took vacations, never upgraded your car, never moved to a nicer place. We sold the house. We're moving to a 2-bedroom condo. Your father hates it. I hate it. But it's what we can afford on our actual income. We should have done this 3 years ago instead of asking you to fund our lifestyle. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't expect you to resume contact. But I needed you to know that I understand now. And I'm sorry. Mom, I read the letter twice, put it in a drawer. Didn't respond. But I didn't throw it away either. 3 months after the freeze, my life had completely transformed. Savings account, $52,847, growing by $6,300 monthly. Retirement accounts, fully funded for the first time ever. My apartment, still modest, but now it was a choice, not a necessity. I could afford to move. I just didn't want to. I liked my space. My stress level, almost zero. I'd started dating someone I met at a work conference. Her name was Alicia, and when I told her my family situation on our 4th date, she'd said, "So you set a healthy boundary after years of being exploited. That's not cruel. That's self-preservation. No judgment, no pressure to reconcile, just acceptance." 4 months after the freeze, I ran into my father at the grocery store. He was in the produce section, examining tomatoes with the intense focus of someone who now had to watch every dollar. "Ethan," he said stiffly. "Dad," awkward silence. "Your mother wrote you a letter," he said finally. "I got it. Did you respond?" "No." He nodded slowly. "We sold the house. Moving next week. 1 bedroom for us, 1 for an office. It's small." He paused. "It's what we should have gotten in the first place. Probably. I'm not apologizing," he said, his jaw tight. "What you did was harsh. But your mother seems to think we earned it." "You did." He looked at me for a long moment. I saw something flicker across his face, maybe understanding, maybe just resignation. "You turned out tougher than I thought," he said. "I had good motivation." He almost smiled. Almost. "Take care of yourself, Ethan." "You too, Dad." He walked away, pushing his cart toward the deli section. I finished my shopping and went home. I didn't cry. Didn't feel triumphant. Just felt complete. Like a chapter had ended cleanly, without needing to be rewritten or revised. 6 months after the freeze, I sat in my apartment on a Saturday morning, drinking coffee and watching the sunrise. My phone sat silent on the table. No emergency calls, no guilt trips. No financial demands, just quiet. My savings account, $89,724. My retirement accounts, fully funded and growing. My investments, diversified and appreciating. My life, mine. Vanessa and I met for lunch occasionally now. She'd stopped trying to broker peace between me and our parents. She'd started paying more attention to her own boundaries. Last week, she'd told Mom no when asked to co-sign a loan, and she'd called me afterward, shaking but proud. It gets easier, I'd told her.
Does it? She'd asked.
Yes, but first it gets hard. And that's okay. I didn't know if I'd ever fully reconcile with my parents. Maybe someday we'd have a relationship that looked like family instead of a financial transaction. Maybe not. Either way, I was okay. I'd spent 3 years funding someone else's dream retirement. Now I was funding my own future, my own freedom, my own peace. And I'd never go back. The morning light filled my apartment, warm and golden. My coffee was still hot, my calendar was mine, my money was mine. My life was mine. It sounded like freedom. And it was.